Hi, my name's Rob Lee. Subscribe to Ford Have Mercy.
I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the game on the website, the 8-0 against Sheffield Wednesday yesterday?
I didn't know, but obviously I've seen the result already. That's all. You scored 5, innit? So
yeah. But going back to what you were saying about how the crowd get on your back and stuff like that. Obviously, it was Sir Bobby's first game, and the one thing that I just watched the game. It was just listening to it and watching it as I was going about my day, and the one thing I took out of the goals, the result, the one thing I took away from everything is exactly that. Whenever there was a misplaced pass, there was a groan or a moan in the crowd, and they were getting on their back. And that was at 1-0. That was at 0-0. That was at 2-0. They were still doing it. It was like everything has to be perfect. It's like there's no room for any sort of misplaced pass or a poor cross or a missed chance. It's like, and that's what it is. Like, and it's a pressure unlike outside the top 6. It's a pressure unlike any other club. The pressure we have at our club outside of the top 6 that are expected to be winning every week in, week out. We have that pressure. Yeah. And it's difficult, and that's the thing that we're going to have to manage. If this takeover does eventually happen this week or whenever it does, is that expectation is going to go from Ashley rock bottom to sky high. Yes.
Hugo, sorry, bro. Yeah, you caught us mid-conversation, man. We're just I was waiting for you, but we're just chatting about like the pressures of playing for Newcastle. Just talking over the years, like. Some people have risen to the occasion, like your Ginolas and not repairs, and then some people, like, defenders and strikers haven't really. Like, what do you reckon? What do you make of it?
You know what? I believe the pressure's gone. I mean, the pressure, as in the pressure in terms of the club is still around, right, and the fans, right. But I feel like Mike Ashley's taking the pressure off the players, and the fans have a sort of an element of sympathy towards the players. So the thinking of winning every game and sort of winning things or I don't know, has sort of disappeared because of how limited Mike actually has made the team. But Pete, like you were saying before, I would say up until 2007, when Ashley did come in, there was that expectancy to win games and stuff. But the pressure is there because Newcastle fans will always expect, no matter what league we're in, League One, Championship, we would always expect something because we know where we've come from. And I can sort of maybe make links to Leeds as well. Even though Leeds are in the Championship, they've been there for the last however years. I'm sure their fans, when they're in League One, put pressure on them as well. So there's always pressure, but I feel like the pressure that's around now is a different kind of pressure. The fans expect hard work, which that's a given. The fans expect effort. The fans expect the players to care. But in terms of pressure to win games, I don't believe that's, or pressure in terms of making the correct pass, I don't believe. Anyways, from going to certain games, I don't believe that's still there, And I think if this takeover does happen, or when it does happen, I feel like the pressure to win games it wouldn't be a pressure. It will be more sort of exciting, and it will take time. That pressure will build, but when it does build, it's going to be there. I feel like right now, Mike Ashley's distracted us fans from the actual football of what's going on at Newcastle. And now it's like now if we were to sort of lose, I'll say 2-1, let's say, but we play really well, or the fans won't be as upset as we would have been probably in, say, mid or early 20s, early 20s and late 90s. So I feel like it's a different kind of pressure that is around Newcastle, that whole sleeping giant thing, and us fans, we are aware of this. So I don't believe there's pressure on the players, but the players know, right? The players know what sort of club they've come to, which is Newcastle FC. So, for example, Joe Linton, right? He knows the pressure of the number 9, right? That pressure isn't from the fans. That's just from maybe history of the club itself. You know, so and I just feel like St James's Park isn't the same as it was before. I don't believe fans create pressure anymore. It's just it's maybe pressure from the club and other things. But can you guys hear me? Okay.
We can hear you, but you froze a little bit.
Yeah,
you froze up a bit. It was just, me and Pete were probably just waiting for you just to kind of unfroze.
You're back now, though. You're back now.
Yeah.
But did you catch what I was saying, though?
Yeah. I just found it interesting. I found it interesting that you compared us to Leeds, because I think, we're in a similar boat to Leeds, because I think people that have come from a similar generation, like I don't know about you, Peter, like I'm mid-30s and all the rest of it, so remember when we was good, do you know what I mean? And obviously Leeds remember when they was in the Premier League as well, so we still have that, even though we're not like, we should be competing for the titles all the time, but we still remember when we was good. So anyone who's come from that era, you kind of think, we could be doing better. That's the thing. And then people that are younger than us, they'll be like, I've only known this era. I've only known this one. So,
and that's what you tend to find on a lot of social media. A lot of the social media now are the younger generation that don't know about Leeds United, because Leeds United and our second resurgence under Sir Bobby came at the same time.
Yeah.
We were both like pushing at the same time when they had Viduka, Ferdinand, Woodgate, Bowyer, Kuhl. When they were pushing, they got to the quarters or the semis of the Champions League.
Semis, yeah.
They were pushing, and they were like, they were up there under David O'Leary, and they were in some ways better than us.
They were like that young team they were like the Tottenham, say for example, because a young team like doing well, got to the finals, the rest of it. They were like the Tottenham of their day in terms of like all the young talent that you mentioned there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But going back to what Hugo was saying, the pressure's changed now, because the pressure for me is not about putting on good performances and necessarily winning week in, week out. The pressure is just getting to 40 points. The pressure now, and it's a different type of pressure. It is like literally, and I'm guilty of it myself. I look at, when we get the fixtures come end of June, early July, and I look at the fixtures, I'm looking at how quickly we can get to 40 points. And that's the mentality. That's the way that we as fans have changed over the last 13 years.
Isn't that mad? Just hearing you say that, it sounds mad. Like, I know, again, I'm not saying that, we should be going for a Champions League and all the rest of it, but looking at the fixture list and thinking, we can get a point there, 40 points, done by March, whatever, and that's with a month to go. Like, come on.
And that's a sad reality, really, and that's where probably this season's been the anomaly, because you look at games like Man U at home, Chelsea at home, Man City at home, and you think, we ain't getting anything from those games, and then you look at the likes of Bournemouth, you look at Brighton and whatever, and you think, we can get 3 points from there, but actually, we beat Man U at home, we beat Chelsea at home, we drew with Man City. This season's been the anomaly, because we've turned over those better teams, Tottenham away, for example. Whereas normally we wouldn't win those games. But it's, look, do I want to be that way? No, but that's the reality. The reality is that's what Mike Ashley's made us as fans. That's how he's changed this. He's changed this from being optimistic, being positive season after season. And I think that's what the fans want more than anything. You got the media that are talking about your Gareth Bales and your Mbappes and all the rest of it. And all the Newcastle fans are having to shoot that down and say, no, that's not what we're about. We know if we're going to ever get to that point, that's going to take a number of years to be able to entice those sort of players to Newcastle. All Newcastle fans want is to go into a season and be ambitious and think, actually, we can push that top 8. We can potentially get to Europe season after season. And I think Newcastle fans would take that in the early, certainly the first 0 to 5 years, Newcastle fans would take that.
Yeah, I think I think for me, right, like to me, it's not coincidence why we are able to beat teams like United, Spurs, and so, and we struggle against the teams that we should be beating. And for me, there's only one reason for it, is because the teams that we should be beating, we have more, or we should have more of the ball. And we're not good on the ball, and that showed that was shown against Oxford as well. You know, when we're meant to have the ball, we struggle. So against teams where we are expected to defend, that's our game. So Spurs away, you know, we're not gonna have the ball, so we defend. We spend more time training defending than, say, on the ball. So I feel like that's the reason why. And
I say though, but isn't that down to like personnel? Because sometimes in those sort of games there, when you're thinking, go on, someone take it by the scruff of the neck, go on, Leeds. We haven't got that. Sometimes you think Shelby should be doing that. Like we're 1-0 down against, I don't know, a poor team that we should be beating. Go on, make this your game, and then they kind of just go into their shell a little bit. That's the reason why we're kind of lacking those sort of players, I think.
But this is it. This is the thing. You talk about Shelby. Shelby's,
no, I'm just not.
But it's a really good example because it shows where we are as a club. Because for me, you put Shelby in a Wolves, you put Shelby in a Man United, you put Shelby in one of those teams, and he would excel, and he would be in the England squad. Shelby's not the type of player that should be in a relegation battle. He's got that brilliance about him, but he needs to be playing in a team that are on the front foot. He needs to be playing in a team that's an attacking-minded team. He's a fantastic footballer. Every player that's been or still at the club that's played with Shelby has said he's the best player at the team, best player in the club for his ability, and he is. But he has to. And this is why he did so well at Swansea when they were playing European football under Brendan Rodgers. This is why he played so well at Liverpool, coming through as a young lad. And it's because he was playing in teams that were on the front foot and were attacking and weren't worried about nicking a 1-0 or just not conceding in a game. It was about, right, go and play your football. And if we're lucky enough to be in that position next season with, you know, a bit of ambition, with an ambitious manager, you will see the best of John Joe Shelby. You'll see the best of him, and he's coming into his peak years now. But that's the difference. We've got a very industrial side that will run themselves into the ground. Matt Ritchie, Isaac Hayden, Matty Longstaff. You've got players like that will run themselves into the ground and will run back and forth for 90 minutes. Joe Linton's been an industrial player. He'll just run until he can't run anymore. But in terms of quality, we haven't seen it from those players. Those players, you get it in little bursts, 2 or 3 games here and there, not consistently. Like, and that's the thing. You know, we talk about Yedlin all the time, but Yedlin's another one. He's an industrial player. He's got speed. He'll run up and down all day for you. Can he cross a ball? Not really. You know, can he tackle? Not really. But he'll do the doggy work. Paul Dummett's a good example of that as well. We need those players to be quality players, to have that ability, but also to be able to produce the quality that's going to win you games and win you games comfortably. Yeah. And that's the difference. That's the difference in contrast. That's the contrast in styles.
I think for me, right, all I want to see, right, is my team, let's say, go, because every game I've been to, I'd say in the last, 4 years, right, we've gone there expecting, or we've gone there trying not to concede.
Yeah.
So I've gone to a game, I'm waiting until, how long is it until we concede? If we score first, it's crazy, right? But then it's how long can this lead last for? Not when will we get a second goal or a third goal? You know, it's very. I think only West Ham this season when we went 3-0 up, and it should have been 3 or for 5 or 6 goals, but you know that wasn't the case. But then it finished 3-2. But there's rarely ever a time where we go to say team at Wolves or somewhere and compete with them blow for blow. They attack, we attack. We have the ball, they have the ball. So for me, step one, if this stuff happens, is just let me see my team compete first. You know, I couldn't care less if we lose, let's say to Wolves 3-2 away, or we win 3-2, but at least like step one has to be a change in the mentality of the players and of the team as well. So that's my wish. You know, that's my sort of say thinking from year 0 to probably year 2. Just compete. You know, learn how to compete first as a club. Learn how to compete and win, and then go from there. Because you know, again, sitting 8th or top 8, top 7, because that top 6 now is getting bigger now. It's now top 7. If you want to include Leicester, it's now top 7, right? And then left after that, you've got your Evertons. You know, these teams are decent size as well. So I'm not going to expect, you know, top 6 straight away. It's just let's learn how to compete first and then take it on.
And that's it. And as you said, it's kind of like, you know, you've got your top 6, but I wouldn't even put Leicester in there. You can put Leicester in that top 7 because obviously they're top 4 at the moment and they've had a fantastic season. But actually, outside that top 6, there is no one of any of those clubs that are consistently good season in, season out. So you we've put Leicester in the top 4, but last year I think they finished 9th, and you know, so they're not constantly in that top 7, or they're not constantly in Europe. I think obviously Wolves got Europe last season. They're in and around it this season, but you know, Sheffield United could get it this season. And you know, last season Watford were there. Watford are now in the relegation battle. So there's scope for us quite quickly to become that top 17, to be that 7th place, to get that European spot. We have that ability to, you know, with a bit of ambition, with a few signs, because we've got the infrastructure of the club, the stadium, everything's already there, the fan base. We just need that little bit of an injection of cash and the ambition to get the right players, and we could be that top 17, and we could consolidate for the first 2 or 3 years as that top 17. And when they see that, and when we're playing Europa League 2 or 3 seasons on the bounce, and then you can start attracting those players, because those players know that you're likely to play European football every year, and they're likely to then want to come to you. And that's when you can start pitching your sail a little bit higher. And then that's where you build. You're not going to do a Man City and win the league. Well, we might be lucky, who knows? You're not going to do that over 2 or 3 years.
It's changed now.
Of course, the FIFA Fair Play wasn't even really in place at that point. So they were able to spend millions upon millions upon millions on these random players and pay them X amount of money just to get them into the club. We're not in a position to do that. We have to play by the rules, and it seems like they're going to, you know, when they take over, are going to play by the rules. So it's going to take us a little bit longer. So whereas it took them, you know, 3 or 4 years to mount a title challenge, it's probably going to take us maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah,
but I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with that. So same.
You know what I mean? Because that means I ain't got to worry about
relegation. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm quite happy with that.